discuss. And I want to begin by showing you certain pictures to the right of your screens. These pictures of Shiv Senics tearing apart a venue where a self-professed comedian called Kunal Kamra tore into their leader are disgraceful. They reek of an infinite immaturity and insecurity, of cowardice and a scant regard for the law or for India's democracy. How can self-professed tigers be rattled by a few words of mindless criticism? Whether or not Kunal Kamra has been allegedly propped by the rivals of the Shiv Sena or anyone else to say what he did is besides the point. In case the Shiv Sena needs reminding, even paid stooges have a right to express themselves under the law. And paid or unpaid, Kamra did so with gusto. He said the Shiv Sena walked out of BJP, then Sena walked out of Sena, NCP walked out of NCP, 9 options were given to one voter, one person is behind it, he comes from a big district called Thane, rickshaw from Thane, he has a beard and glasses on his face, you can catch a glimpse sometimes he hides in Guwahati. If you see from my eyes, he's a traitor, not a minister but a turncoat, he bit the hand that fed him. You see him more with Chief Minister and then in the Mantralaya, etc., and a few expletives were also thrown in. The Shiv Sena believes that the remarks are slanderous. They surely know there are laws to deal with that kind of sententious stuff and can be invoked. But they didn't file a complaint. Instead, they went on a rampage. The videos of the vigilantism triggered an ecosystem of so-called liberals who went for the jugular of the BJP-ruled Maharashtra government and the Prime Minister at the center. All sorts of epithets, beginning with dictator to murderer, were hurled. The ranting is seemingly unending, with their supporters, sundry aligned journalists, taking to their digital megaphones to strike a discordant chord of their own. But here's the rub, viewers. Their attacks reek of hypocrisy. The UBT Shiv Sena, the #1 opposition party in the state of Maharashtra, can hardly cover itself in glory. The Congress and the Sharad Pawar NCP and UBT, the Sena's allies, can hardly assume the moral high ground. They aren't champions of free speech. Here are the hard facts. As always, viewers, on this show, 2 women journalists arrested in Telangana. Congress-ruled Telangana for a post against Congress Chief Minister Revanth Reddy in March 2025. Just this month, viewers. What free speech are they fighting for? YouTuber Savuku Shankar, a vocal critic of the DMK-led Tamil Nadu government, was arrested for allegedly making defamatory remarks about the leaders who led India's freedom struggle in August 2024. He had no freedom of speech, only Kamra has in this country. Under MVA, FIR was registered against former BJP national spokesperson Nupur Sharma in Mumbai's Fidoni police station and Thane for, quote, hurting religious sentiments, unquote, in 2022. Her freedom of speech, viewers, was silenced. Kunal Kamra supported the demolition and even posed with UBT Shiv Sena leader Sanjay Raut in a show in 2020 supporting an allegedly arbitrary order to raise illegal construction at the office complex of actor now turned MP Kangana Ranaut because she was critical of the MVA. Kunal Kamra stamped upon the right freedom of expression by haranguing, taunting, abusing and filming a senior journalist mid-air to intimidate him. Under MVA, the one that is making the loudest noise about the death and murder of freedom of speech under the BJP. Under MVA, actress Ketaki Chitale had faced arrest in 2020 for allegedly sharing a derogatory post about NCP chief Sharad Pawar on social media. There are a whole list, viewers, of the ecosystem's duplicity. And I want to begin by asking some fundamental questions tonight. And these are very simple ones. Can the so-called liberal ecosystem call the BJP and its allies to account when it has itself led an offensive against free speech? Let's open this up. Let's go straight across to Dr. Anand Ranganathan first. Let me ask him, what's going on, Dr. Ranganathan? I'm not defending the actions of the Shiv Sena. But come on. I mean, these people are all behaving like they are the only ones who can stand in judgment.
As they always do. No, but Rahul, look, good evening. Like you, I completely and wholeheartedly condemn the violence that erupted and the vandalism. It has absolutely no place in a democracy. But that's not debate out here. The debate is at 2 levels, and please give me a couple of minutes because both are very important. Let me be unequivocal. Kunal Kamra is a coward and a psychopath, to borrow the phrase that was used by his master once. But in going after him and arresting him, all what the state would be doing is to become another Kunal Kamra. The state is better than that. Democracy should always be better than its delinquents. In Kamra versus State, as I said, there are two entities, both merit going into. First, Kunal. I said Kunal is a coward because a stand-up who should be standing up for the rights and free speech of citizens is right now lying low in a state that arrests dissenters, activists, journalists, publishers at the drop of a hat. Kunal is a coward because he never dare open his mouth against the DMK when it arrests YouTubers because they conduct a quote-unquote controversial interview. Kunal is a coward because he never dare open his mouth against the Congress when a man is arrested for merely calling a politician penguin. Against the TMC when a professor is arrested for sharing a Mamata cartoon and acquitted after 11 years. Against the CPIM when 120 people are booked for social media posts criticizing the chief minister. Against AAP when journalists are arrested for stories highlighting corruption. Wrecked by guilt, these hypocrites go after anyone who exposes them and their kings and queens, exposes them for what they are. Hunchbacks who cover at the mere mention of sheesh mahal or liquor scam or of this incestuous armchair socialist activist club that throws some crumbs at them for a few woofs. So according to these rent-a-penny actor activists and stand-ups who say they speak truth to power, only Modi is in power. Kejriwal and Mamata and Stalin and Vijayan are not. Only Hinduism is to be criticized. Islam is not. Kamra is a psychopath because he enjoys the suffering of others at the hands of the state, even as he wants them to protest against his suffering at the hands of the state. Kamra is a psychopath because he enjoyed the chasing of Nupur for merely quoting Islamic books. He's a psychopath because he not stand up for Kangana Ranaut when the might of the state bulldozed her property as a response to her innocuous statement. Kamra actually mocked her suffering, took sadistic pleasure at the state's illegal barbarity, boasting that he enjoyed watching the bulldozing. Rahul, they who swing happily from the coattails of AAP and DMK and Congress and TMC leaders demanding FIRs on everyone they claim abuses, Kejriwal or Rahul Gandhi or Mamata, know in their hearts that if an FIR were to be registered by the BJP every time these guys abuse Modi, we'd run out of trees to make enough paper to write the FIRs down. Rahul, we have stand-up comics who can't stand up anymore. We have activists who can't shout anymore. We have journalists who can't write anymore about the death of democracy in non-BJP states. Now, very briefly to the other point of the state. The state must not become Kamra. Kamra, who is now foolishly brandishing a copy of the constitution like Rahul Gandhi, doesn't even know that the first amendment of it brought by the dictator Nehru is what is responsible for curbing free speech in this country. The reality is that we don't have a constitution that respects dissent. We have laws and articles and amendments that rather than protect the rights of the dissenter, protect those who violate his rights. Everything is grey. Everything is subject to something. Everything is primed for offending religious sensibilities. If I am not in jail right now, Rahul, it is because the state has decided that I need not be jailed. We need to change this. The state needs to protect Kunals and not go after them, even if they are cowards and psychopaths and as funny as an unaccounted fart in an elevator.
Now, viewers, the question is very simple. Are political parties trapped in selective politics? And let me prove this point. Let me bring in the Shiv Sena leader from UBT, Sushma Andhare. Sushma ji, I want to ask you a simple question. You are standing up for free speech tonight. Of the free speech, right to free speech of Kunal Kamra, saying what has happened is horrible, this, that, the other. I agree with you, it's horrible. But can I ask you, there was an author called James Lane. I don't know if you remember James Lane. He wrote a biography on Shivaji, and his biography was banned. Even though courts upheld it, it was withdrawn from circulation. Should James Lane's book on Shivaji have been banned? Should Salman Rushdie's book on the satanic verses have been banned? Should Sudhindra Kulkarni, who was attending a book release function, should his face have been blackened with ink? I'm asking you these questions tonight.
Can we differ? Can we compare? How can we compare with James Lane and Kunal Kamra? James Lane insulted our great king Raja Shiva Chhatrapati and our Rashtramatha Ma Jijao. James Lane hurted our feeling.
Okay, just stop there, Ms. Andhare, 1 second. Good point. How can we equate the two? You see, if I ask right now, the Shinde Sena, for the Shinde Sena, they have an icon. And their icon is Mr. Shinde himself, who formed the party. How can anyone talk against their icon? They will say that. So everybody has an icon. You see, let me ask Sushil Vyasji. Sushil Vyasji, Ms. Andhare says that you can't compare all these cases. Okay, Because you see, Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was our icon. Fair enough. For you, Mr. Shinde, who formed your party, is an icon. So is she being selective or is she being now uniform? Are you hurt because Kunal Kamra attacked your icon Shinde ji and therefore you have reacted like this?
Why not? He is our supreme leader.
There you go.
If somebody says some derogatory or defamatory remarks against him, definitely each and every Shiv Sainik will be reacting that.
There you go.
That's
There you go, Miss Andhare. आपको जवाब मिल गया. इनका वो आइकॉन है जो आज डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर है और उनके खिलाफ कोई कुछ नहीं बोल सकता और इनके लिए ये सब कंपैरिजन है. यस डॉक्टर.
No, let not the UBT get away.
के अंदर मुझे रोक दिया और मुझे मेरी बात, मुझे लगता है कि रंगनाथन साहब ने बहुत अच्छे तरीके से और बहुत देर तक अपनी बात रखी है, तो कृपया जरा मुझे अपनी बात.
तो मैं आपसे एक और चीज पूछ लेता हूँ. आपसे एक और चीज पूछता हूँ. क्या नुपुर शर्मा डिड शी हैव फ्री स्पीच? उनका कोई राइट है फ्री स्पीच का, नुपुर शर्मा जी का?
शायद आप थोड़ी गलती कर रहे हैं. मैं लेट मी करेक्ट यू. राजा शिव छत्रपति इज आवर आइडल, आवर हिस्टोरिकल.
ही इज माय आइडल आल्सो.
राजा शिव छत्रपति
ही इज माय आइडल आल्सो.
No, please.
What do you mean? No. He is my idol.
Mr. Eknath Shinde.
One second. Doctor wants to come in.
1 minute.
No, Andhare. Miss Andhare, listen to Dr. Ranganathan. 1 second. He has a counter question to ask you. Counter question. Listen to his question. आप उनका जवाब दीजिए. Yes.
Yes, with due respect to Miss Andhare, whom I respect a lot, she is feeding on the false equivalent. If the Shinde faction is saying that Mr. Shinde is our icon and nobody should say anything against it, the UBT also felt Aditya Thackeray as its icon because somebody called him something and that person was arrested. The UBT also feels that the wife of Mr. Uddhav Thackeray was an icon.
Yeah, so let me bring in experienced journalist Tushar Gupta here. He's also an author. Tushar Gupta, what is happening here? You see, everyone, if they have an icon, etc., and they say that we have a right to go ahead and do what we want to in protecting our icon. So it's all even Stevens. We'll just select our icons and then very conveniently go on a rampage when we feel our icon has been upset. That's it. It's simple.
You sum it up perfectly, Rahul. Good evening. Look, you and I, maybe Dr. Ranganathan, maybe some other panelist, we all think about freedom of speech, absolute freedom of speech, because we want the debate to continue. We want the deliberations to happen without any fear. But we are a minority, Rahul, in this country. The majority is of people who want this vendetta politics to continue. Now, the person in question, Kunal Kamra, sits with a politician from Shiv Sena UBT, celebrates the BMC bulldozing Kangana Ranaut's office 4 years ago. And he says, mere ko to acha laga, acha kiya. Now, how do you debate with this person that what is the difference between comedy and being a paid puppet of a political party that invites reaction from the other side? You can't. Because these people are not looking for freedom of speech or the definition of secularism. These people want chaos. These people want to watch the world burn. They want to be a part of that vendetta politics where they play victims at their convenience, where they play executioners at their convenience, where they play judges at their convenience. They want to be a part of the chaos at the cost of the absolute freedom of speech people you and I like to cherish because we want the debate for the larger good, for the country to continue. But for these people, especially people like Dr. Kamra, their world revolves around them. What they think of an individual, what political ideology they follow, it's nothing about the country or the people for them. It's about themselves. Now, and that is the kind of narcissism we are dealing with right now.
Now, you know what we've come to, viewers. Today, had the opposition acquitted itself honorably, had they themselves taken a principled position when things were happening against Kangana Ranaut, today they could have been in a position to hold the government in power to account. So the person who should have been attacked today was the Shinde Sena spokesperson. But viewers, today you have a situation where neither the opposition, neither the ruling party can acquit themselves on this issue with any credible defense. And that's the problem, viewers. You have an opposition that has gone to seed, that is compromised on every available principle. And today, the party in power is pushing the buttons because it knows it will get away. Who created this situation? You think about it. I'll leave it at this, viewers.